Hey, welcome to the lesson, everybody. We're going to take a look at the end of David Bowie. Last lesson I covered everything up to the jam and didn't do the ending, so we'll check it out now. Before doing the shred lick, maybe I can explain what's happening kind of underneath with the other bandmates. We've got an A minor, or maybe an A minor 7. I'm not sure what page is playing on the keys, and then a B minor, and then a C. Sounds like major 7, especially when you put it against what Trey's doing. And then we do that a couple times. Now, the lick that I just did was, I'm just doing the end one because he does it a bunch, and then they do that kind of chaotic thing in the middle where it kind of drops out and then it comes back. So I'm just going right to the end one, and you can plug in the shredding on all the other ones. It's the same kind of thing without the high bend. I'll explain as we go here. So, assuming we're at the last one, again, we've got A minor, B minor, C major 7, again. Now we go E minor, 2, 3, A, B, again. Minor 7, and then that is the end. So that's what the rhythm is doing. Now for the really fast shredding lick, it's actually a pretty simple thing, but might take a minute to get the coordination of all the little elements that go into it. So I'm going to go through it really slowly here. So we're doing really only actually 2 types of chord shapes, and we're just shifting them a little bit. The first of which is going to be like a C major arpeggio against the A minor. So it sounds really cool against that. So we put our pinky finger up on 15 of high E, and we play that on an up. So it's kind of important to really map out the picking. I'm sure there are other ways you could do it, but I think this is the path of least resistance, and it makes it a little easier. So we're going to have pinky finger on 15. We do an up, pull off to 12, and then we're getting the pick ready on the B string, going down with middle finger, and then continue the down back to the 12th fret. And that's it. It's that simple, but it's really fast. So it's like, it might be tempting when you first try to do this, if this is a newer kind of thing for you, to do like 2 separate downs at the end. But really what we want to try to do is maximize that one motion and just time it right so we can go, I didn't do that first one very well, but like that 2 down, or 1 down, 2 notes. So up, down, up, down. So if you really look at my right hand, that's all that's happening. Up, down, up, down. But we're getting all of those notes happening with just those 2 movements, which is really the key to it. This is really an economy slash alternate kind of hybrid pick. So we do count 4 times that you go to your pinky finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we shift up a whole step, pinky on 17, do the same exact thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's a D major against the B minor. So really what he's doing, he's taking the relative major and putting it against the minor chord, which is just a really cool sound. It creates minor 7 chords when you look at it in totality. So after that D major arpeggio for Trey, now we go up, and instead of doing a major shape like we've done for the last 2, we do a minor shape. Now here's the irony, is that the first 2 chords for the rhythm are minor chords, and he's playing a major against them. Now he's going to play a minor chord against the major chord that the other guys are playing. So he's going to play an E minor arpeggio over that. So pinky fingers on 19 of high E. Same pattern. We don't want to switch our right hand up at all. We want to keep that just completely on autopilot. We go up, so up, and then we pull off to 15th fret now. And then 17 of B with a down, continue the down back to 15, and that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is twice as long. 2, 3, 4, like that. So it's all about getting a really smooth timing with it and getting everything synced up really well. So maybe, take your time really slowly with it at first. Although, I have to say, sometimes with these kinds of licks that require those 2 downs in a row, it almost is better to find like a medium tempo. If you go too slowly, sometimes it becomes difficult to really hear a sense of what the rhythm is supposed to be. So you'll have to find your kind of happy medium for that. And I'm just this is what I'm thinking is a good kind of, not too slow, but kind of medium. Okay. Now, one thing that occurred to me as I was just doing that, if you don't mute the other strings with your right hand, this is really a kind of a thing that goes unnoticed sometimes. But if you don't mute the other strings, you'll end up getting this really bad, like ringing harmonic thing, especially if you have a lot of distortion on. So even if I'm not, so you hear all that kind of ringing that happens. It can be subtle, but it can be just enough to make it sound not very tight. Like we really want to just bring out the notes that we're playing and mute everything else, or at least I would want to do that. So just, like a little palm mute. And I think he's even kind of lightly palm muting the B string when he hits it. So it's kind of like... That is such a fun lick to play. So maybe, there's a metronome app called Tempo. If you get that metronome app, there are a ton of free metronome apps, but that one, you can automate it to speed up gradually. So you can set it so that every 4 measures, it'll increase by however many BPMs you want to do. I really highly recommend that for practicing, because sometimes workflow is just a big deal. Like you don't want to have to keep going back and adjusting. Okay, now I'm going to go faster and faster. It's kind of nice if you can just set it and forget it and just let it increase with you. So maybe try that. Set it at a slower tempo that you for sure can play, and then map it out as it increases in tempo, and find your max, where you start to get a little sloppy, and then pause it there, and then just kind of track it and see if you can improve on it through practice. I really think it's the kind of lick that just with a little repetition will get better and better. Now on the, let's pretend like we're on the very last one here. The only difference now is he'll do that high bend at the end. So it'll be... Okay, cool. So that's the only difference. You go up to 22 and do a full bend up to the E. Now it's kind of cool because that's still over the C major 7. And then when Trey comes back with the chord, it's an E minor, and then quickly goes to A, B, which I already explained in the beginning. Now, just a couple other fun versions of a similar kind of lick that you can do just to switch it up or practice this kind of thing, because it can be a really cool thing to throw into your playing. Trey definitely does this quite a bit. Sometimes in different ways. Like he has a different way he does this similar thing in Lizards in that fast shred lick. He does it a lot in the studio version of Divided Sky and the Jam. He does it in a ton of different things, but he'll tweak the pattern a little bit. Even in Rift, there's a bit of that going on. So anyway, like some little simple things you can do are practice like little triads and throw in this thing. Rather than doing it over 2 strings, you can do it over 3 strings as well. So I'm just going to pick a random, let's see, I'll go to C. And what I'm going to do here is put my, I'll do 2 different versions. I'll put my pinky finger on the 10th fret of the B string, but I'm keeping this diagonal shape. This is probably kind of a familiar shape to a lot of us. If not, it just creates a major triad. Okay, so that's a C, E, G, making up a C major. I'm going to put my pinky finger up here on the 10th fret. That's an A. And I'm going to do the same kind of pattern. I'm going to pull off. I'm going to do an up, pull off, go up on the G string, and then down, down, down. And you can do a really cool triplet kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. so that doesn't quite sound as clean as I would like to. So what I'll do is, instead of doing it and holding everything down, I'll try to do it more as an arpeggio, and it's a little more difficult, and it's kind of harder to keep it clean. And I switch from doing the pinky finger to the ring finger just because it's so much faster. You can think of it as starting on the up on the B string, or you can think of it as starting with the downs on the 10th fret of D. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But again, if you really look at my right hand, you'll notice it's down, up, down, up. All of those notes you hear are just from those two motions that are timed really well. Down, up, down, up. And you can do fun little stuff, like do chromatic stuff. So that's one version of it. You can, so that right there, you could hear that as like a major 6 kind of chord. You could also do it as a dominant chord. And you could say you can switch between them. We can also do this as a minor chord shape and make it like a minor 7 or a minor 6. The minor 6 is kind of cool if you're doing a Dorian thing. So I'm going to stay in that kind of C area, but now make it C minor. So the minor 7 would be like this. Ring finger stays on 10 and D like before, but we bar the pointer finger on 8, 8, and then pinky on 11, pull off, and then go back to G on 8th fret. So and then for the minor 6 it'd be, and what I mean by that is C minor 6. So it's actually a major 6 over the C minor. And then if you do it a little faster, and then here's the 6. So that's kind of a fun one. But you get the idea. You can just take little pieces of this concept and do just taking advantage of a couple downs or a couple ups, but then getting the best of both worlds because we're also alternating. But it's just more, you're getting more notes out of a bigger motion is really what it's all about. So yeah, have fun with it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time.